Well, you said it, Chewie. Where did you dig up that old fossil?
It's a positive film. It has heroes and villains, and that it essentially is a fun movie to watch. It's been a long time since people have been able to go to the movies and see a sort of straightforward, wholesome, fun adventure.
Well, it's a fantasy. It's not science fiction so much as it is space fantasy. And it's about people. It's finally about people and not finally about science.
The story, when you actually put it into words, is only so much nonsense to hang a great visual experience onto. It's the stuff that fairy tales are made of.
Sort of boiling down religion into a very basic concept. The fact that there is some deity or some power or some force that sort of controls our destiny works for good and also works for evil.
Marvelous, healthy innocence. Great pace, wonderful to look at, full of guts, nothing unpleasant. I mean, people go bang bang and people fall over and are dead, but no horrors. A sort of wonderful freshness about it, kind of like a wonderful fresh air.
It's got whatever you want it to be. It's pure entertainment. It's like a roller coaster ride, and it can be interpreted as long as you enjoy it, which is the intention.
Hello there and welcome back to Generation Skywalker. This is Dan and you're listening to episode 27 of Those Old Fossils, back with more vintage Star Wars collecting chat. And after covering Bosk, IG-88 and Dengar in the previous 3 episodes, in this 4th part of the Bounty Hunter Capture Pod, we are talking not 1 but 2 vintage Bounty Hunter action figures, namely Forlom and Zuckuss. And joining me in the hunt this month, I have 3 of my favourite people on the planet. First up, Stuart Skinner. How you doing, Stu?
I'm all good, mate. You?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. So, Stuart, at the end of this show, we're going to be running a mini committee ranking the 5 bounty hunters we'll have covered so far and crowning the second best bounty hunter figure ahead of our Boba Fett episodes. Now, we all know how much you like putting people on the spot and asking them their top 5 or top 10s on various subjects. So I'm going to turn the tables and I've got one for you. Give us your top 5 space-themed chocolate bars, crisps or snacks.
All right. Can you give me a couple of minutes while you introduce who else is with us?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Look him buying himself some time. You normally want instant answers, but I'll play along. So next up, we've got Jez. How are you, Jez?
I'm very well, thank you, mate. I'm very well.
So you know what I'm going to ask you. We're going to have to. We started now, so we're going to have to see it through. Yeah. But I'm hoping for tactical drone strikes, military hardware this time. How are you taking these 2 out?
Right. Well, so let's go for Forlom first of all. I'm not sure if I want to get violent with Forlom because we're going to come on to it later on. I've got a bit of a love for him. If anything, I wouldn't mind just trying on his coat actually. And winter's coming in and it's getting darker and everything, so that might be quite nice. And Zuckuss, well, it's not a great. I think any physical contact with him, it's going to hurt me more than him because I got the impression, he's probably quite reinforced. He's probably quite solid from a hitting point of view. So what I plan on doing with Zuckuss is just putting some grease on the floor, and I can imagine him slipping all over the place and then just falling down and just being a bit of a clot. So I want to get pally with Forlom, and Zuckuss. Well, I think I could just make him fall over.
Very good. I reckon because he's a protocol droid, right? I reckon one blast of shot and he'll just explode into pieces like C-3PO did in Empire Strikes Back. But there you go.
Oh no! I've been shot.
Well, I'm hoping for something spectacular next month with Boba Fett. It's all out warfare.
Work on it.
And finally, Mr. Peter Lee. How you doing, Pete?
Very good. I'm very good. How you doing, Dan?
I'm good, mate. How's the boss cosplay coming along?
Oh, amazing.
Is it good to go?
Yeah, struggling with the feet and the hands, but everything else is good to go.
I'm looking forward to it. Stu, how are you getting on with your top 5, bud?
5. I'm gonna go in 5 Space Raiders.
Very good.
I used to love the pickled onion ones, but I'm more beefy as I've got older. So definitely. Milky Way.
Oh,
good. Nice.
In 4th. Third, Starbar. I love
Very
a Star.
good.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
so glad you got that one.
100%, yeah.
Second, I love a Mars bar, especially if it's been in the fridge, so it's rock hard. And number one's got to be Galaxy, but we will give a special mention to Jaffa the Hutt Cakes.
I'd even gone with a bounty. We're talking bounty hunters. You could have chucked a
Oh.
bounty in there as well if you wanted to use your imagination. There you go.
Yeah, but I'm not. They wouldn't be in my top 5 chocolate bars. So no,
Oh, I
Dan.
love a bounty. I love a bounty.
Yeah, but it's not your twin sons, Twix sons, Twix sons.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, I reckon I'm going to come up with loads over the course of the night.
Is there a Zoom bar?
There used to be. I don't think they do them no more, do they?
Zoom.
Yeah, I know. It's always on my mind.
Flying saucers. How did I not get
Yes,
those? Little sugar paper. Yeah.
Well, you could go about Milky Way shooting stars.
Yep. I would love to. Okay. I'll be honest with you, Dan. I don't want to say anything detrimental because strong people don't put other down; they lift them up. So, Darth Vader, he was good at that, wasn't he?
Mystery Stew. So we just mentioned there about Pete and his cosplay at Echo. So Echo is just a few short days away from the time of recording this show. And you may very well be listening to this on your way to Redditch. And if you're coming along, be sure to find one of the 4 of us at the event because we have some swag. We've had some issues with it, but it's now ready for distribution. So we've got some lovely fridge magnets. And if you're bringing your own swag, come and trade with us. If you haven't got any swag but still want one, you'll have to use the passphrase, "Why isn't Pete dressed as Bosk?" to get one. And one more piece of business. I can't not mention that this is our 150th recording. So quite a milestone. We've been around now for over 5 years, and we'd like to thank every one of our listeners for your support over the years. It's been quite the journey. No doubt there's been some great sadness over the course of that, obviously with the loss of Craig a couple of years ago, but also many great moments over the years, all the camaraderie, teamwork and great friendships. And I'd just like to say I'm really proud of all of us, our endurance and the body of work we've put together, essentially from nothing but our own time and passion for Star Wars, boys. So yeah, it's a big number, that 150.
150 is good though, and you're absolutely right. Yeah, it has been a journey, and it's been all eras, all passions, all Star Wars, and we said that from the beginning, didn't we? So yeah, I've loved it. Here's to 150 more.
I've got a thought. I can't believe I missed Starburst.
Oh, what have I started now? I shouldn't have started that, should I? So before we get into Fallen and Zuckuss, I just want to have a quick chat about auctions. So back in May, we did a show called Those Old Fossils Get Hammered, where we discussed several auctions that took place around May the 4th, as well as a general discussion about the pros and cons of auction houses, both as buyers and sellers. As we roll into the autumn months, there are a couple more auctions with a heavy Star Wars presence coming up. Jez, are you going to tell us about the Oberon auction on the 15th of October and what we can expect to see there?
Yeah, now I'm a massive fan of the Oberon auction site. They're Nick Dykes and Ollie Dykes, friends of the show. The Star Wars, so it's a TV and film related auction. Check it out because they have 572 different lots. So when you actually come to Star Wars, they've got a whole mixture of modern and vintage. There are 72 wonderful pieces of vintage, and do you know what, Dan? I don't really want to go through it that much because I'm kind of in a difficult place here because I don't want anyone to know about this auction. You know what I mean? I don't want to highlight some of the amazing things that they've got, and I'm just like, I haven't seen one of these listed ever before, and then you track it, you're like, They've only sold. There's only one listed on Tracker in forever, and at the moment the estimate is £200. What's going on here? So suffice to say, it is brilliant. Something for everyone, something for every budget, And so not only do we have vintage figures and loose figures and graded figures and carded figures and international carded figures. That's all I'm going to say. There's also some sweet posters. There's a Yoda hand puppet. It is really good, but you guys will hopefully notice that I've just tagged you in on Instagram as well, because Oberon are doing a great giveaway at the moment that if you like their giveaway post, and if you tag 2 people on one of their giveaway posts on Facebook or Instagram, and tag 2 of your friends, and so I've tags you guys. And if you say, you know, what your favourite toy is, you could be up for winning £50 worth of auction credit. And I'm like, I am in that. Yeah, get amongst it. Check them out on social media as well. So Oberon Auctions, and you'll get to see everything. I don't really want to say anything more because I really don't want anyone to go to that site. Just leave it all to me.
We're going to talk about Vectis in a minute, but they're both going to have a presence at Echo. So if you do happen to pass their stand, they'll probably have some of the lots on display as well. So we'll leave it as that and let people hunt it out from themselves.
I've got so many saved things on this auction, and I'm like, like I have placed a bid already in advance. I don't normally do that. I normally just do it, you know, live at the time. But it is great. So check them out, Oberon, 15th of October, 10 o'clock. Get amongst it, but please don't get amongst it.
Okay, and then the following week, Pete, we've got a Vectis auction that's recently been announced.
We do, yeah. That's just come up last week. So Tuesday, 21st of October, which is pretty nuts when you think there's Echo that weekend, and you've got the Oberon auction that following Wednesday. And then on the Tuesday after that, you've got this Vectis kind of Star Wars craziness. There's 609 lots, all Star Wars, complete mix of everything. Yeah, you've got your sort of modern that's in there as well. But in terms of vintage, you've got loads of mocks, loads of graded loose figures. You've got a load of leady loose in there. You've got bootlegs, some more Return of the Palitoy paperwork, which I think went unsold a few times. A few highlights that I picked up, but I'm going to out these because I'm not going to say what I'm after, so I'll out some other stuff to get people looking at that instead. There's a gorgeous 3-pack Android set in there. Got that kind of valued at £6 to £8, which graded an 80. They go for sort of big money, don't they, in that higher end condition. Tons of Palitoy carded figures, which is really nice. Don't know if any of you had to look through any of this, but there's also 12 and 20 backs, included a Palitoy vinyl Cape Jawa in there. Lots of Palitoy 30As, Bs, a few 40As. 45As. Yeah, there's some really nice stuff. A few standouts. There's a Wimpy Star Wars posters. I don't know if you've seen those.
Yeah, I did see those, yeah. I think they've got an estimate. They've got a really low estimate. I'm like, there's no way they're going to sell for that. But
that's really nice, isn't it? That is really nice.
It's round. I don't know why they put two in together as well. You'd think they'd kind of separate them out a bit. They're just two next to each other. Seems a little odd. But yeah, there's a Bosk 30A, which we've talked about on recent shows that show they're super rare. There's one of them in there. There's loads. I think with all of this kind of coming together in mid to late October, I can see stuff going under the radar.
Yeah.
I can, certainly. And whether it's worth taking a day off for the Vectis one, who knows?
I'm working from home for them both. Which, I'm a different man. I really am. I don't know what's happened to me. No, they got some awesome stuff. All right, if you're out in a few bits, there's a couple of standout bits at Oberon, which I'm not going to go for, but they've got an incredible range of proofs. They've got the blank back proofs, you know, the R2 blank nameplate one and the just pure black one. But for the first time ever, I've seen the Rebel Commander Revenge proof, which when I say first time ever, that's not quite true because I've got one. But everyone tells me that the Rebel Commander is one of the hardest revenge proofs to get. And this is the first time I've seen another one for sale. And I'm really, really curious as to what that one goes for. I think it's an 85 grade, but mine's a 90. So I would be really interested to see if indeed that is really rare. But it's a bit of a dull figure, isn't it, Rebel Commander? So it you know, it's not going to get the big bucks, I wouldn't have thought. So it'll be very interesting to see. And you know, they got the standard sort of Emperor's Royal Guard tri-logo, which is lovely. Yak face carded, Boba Fett carded. They got some very, 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 very nice things.
Some nice carded leady selection.
Well, we're not mentioning those ones.
Come on, let's talk about
bounty hunters.
Baby, let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about
bounty hunter.
Let's talk about
the bounty hunter.
Let's talk about
the bounty hunter.
Let's talk about
bounty hunters.
Let's talk about
Forlom and Zuckuss. Today we're diving into the galaxy's second string bounty hunters, two characters who stood shoulder to shoulder with Boba Fett on Darth Vader's Star Destroyer but never quite got the same spotlight. Let's start with Forlom. He's a droid, originally built as a standard protocol unit designed to help with etiquette and translation, but somewhere along the way his programming got scrambled. Instead of serving politely, he developed a glitch, a full-blown personality that was greedy, cunning, and ruthless. He ditched the job as translator, picked up a blaster, and became a bounty hunter. His name, Forlom, actually stands for love of money. And that's just not a fan theory. It was the real intention behind the name and fits perfectly because greed is what drives him. On screen, Forlorn was portrayed by stuntman Chris Parsons, who played the White Protocol Unit K-3PO and even doubled inside the C-3PO costume at times. Parsons wore a modified C-3PO body, painted a dull gunmetal colour. The bug-eyed insectoid head, with wires and tubing attached, gave him an unsettling and otherworldly look. His partner in crime was Zuckuss. Zuckuss is a Gand, an insectoid species with a reputation for mysticism. He's what's called a findsman, a kind of spiritual tracker. The Gands believe that hunting down fugitives isn't a skill, it's fate. Zuckuss would use rituals and visions to track prey, blending intuition with bounty hunting grit. Behind the mask, Zuckuss was portrayed by actor Kathy Monroe. That's right, Zuckuss is one of the very few classic trilogy aliens brought to life by a woman inside the suit. The costume itself was notoriously hot and heavy, with a full rubber mask, breathing tubes, and a layered quilting robe that left Monroe sweltering under the studio lights. There's also a funny story about his name. Originally, the character was going to be called Zuckuss, but the team at Lucasfilm quickly realised that Zuckuss is Yiddish slang for the term arse. Not exactly intimidating for a bounty hunter, so they switched it to Zuckuss before the movie came out. Both characters made their on-screen debut in The Empire Strikes Back. When Darth Vader assembled the galaxy's best bounty hunters to track down the Millennium Falcon, they were right there in the lineup, alongside Boba Fett, Bosk, IG-88 and Dengar. They didn't get any speaking lines, and they only had seconds of screen time, but their unusual design stood out. Expanded universe stories fleshed out their partnership further. They often worked as a team, with Zuckuss's mystical tracking skills guiding Forlom's droid efficiency. In many stories, they were shown as loyal to each other, sometimes even more than to the jobs they were hired for. In Disney's current canon, they've been reintroduced in comics like Star Wars Bounty Hunters, reminding fans that they're more than just background extras. Their dynamic remains the same, one defined by greed and cold logic, the other by spiritual instincts and belief in destiny. So while Boba Fett may have gotten all of the fame, Forlom and Zuckuss carved out their own place in Star Wars history. One is literally named for the love of money, and the other almost went through the galaxy with a name that meant arse. Not the most glamorous legacy, but thanks to their strange designs, their trivia, and the actors that brought them to life, they remain fan favourites. And that's the story of Forlom and Zuckuss, the forgotten duo of Star Wars bounty hunting.
This is Zuckuss and Forlom's agent calling about the bounty hunter ad. Yeah, they're on a dangerous mission right now.
No, think we're unavailable.
No, but totally available at the same time. I mean, when did you want to hire them? Is it right away? No problem. Just give me details. A falcon, you say? That's not a giant bug-eating bird, is it? Because that would be. Oh no. Oh, a ship. No, great. Because we're not afraid. I mean, they are not afraid of a ship.
Oh, tell them we always get our man.
I'm not telling them.
Do it. It sounds confident. Be confident.
Oh yes, I'm still here. Yeah. Well, they always get their man. Well, Wookiees too. They always get. Okay. Star Destroyer Executor. 4 p.m. Got it. They're sending a shuttle.
That is so cool.
Okay, thanks. Dude, we are bounty hunters.
To avoid any confusion for the rest of the show, we will refer to Forlom is the Gand alien and Zuckuss is the insectoid droid, just so we're clear, obviously with the name switch from Kenner. So coming out of that then, guys, so what are your memories of these two figures growing up? Did you have them, or were they completely off your radar?
I don't remember Zuckuss at all as a kid. I remember sort of coming back into it in the 90s and sort of finding him and just having very, just sort of slightly indifferent memories of him. I just and sort of saw him on the card backs, but I don't remember having him as a kid. And I don't know, just doesn't really seem to register when I sort of got back into it. But Forlom, I really remember, I think that 45 back Palitoy 45A, I think that was just everywhere. I really remember that. Yeah, I think Jez touched on it earlier, the soft goods coat. How can you not love that?
No, it's superb.
Yeah.
It's good. What about you, Jez? Did you have either of these growing up?
Exactly the same as Peter. That I can't recall Zuckuss at all, but I've got huge love and nostalgia for Forlom, and this is why we do it. We all have that nostalgic hit, don't we? And sometimes there might be a certain character which you associate with a particular holiday or a particular person who bought it for you, or Christmas or birthday or what have you. And Forlom, I have that with an incident in a swimming pool where I was really upset. I was obviously, 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid. Health and safety wasn't as good back then as it is now, and I stubbed my toe quite badly on a grill at the sort of bottom of the swimming pool. And it really, really hurt my toe. And I remember how upset I was about it, and a bit of a weakling. And I think to make me feel better, and it was very unusual for Mum to do this because money was tight and all that. Money's too tight to mention. But I distinctly remember her going out and buying me Forlom on Empire Strikes Back card and giving it to me to hopefully just try and cheer me up and make me feel better because I was just in Hurtsville, Alabama. And that always reminds me of my mum, who obviously I love very much. And it's just that time. And whenever I see a Palatoy carded Forlom, I've put bids on them before, for Oberon, just for that whole nostalgic thing. And yeah, so for me, for Forlom, yeah, I love it. I really, really do. It's funny, isn't it? Nostalgia.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great story. Very good. What about you, Stu? Did you have these ones?
I didn't actually. Like I said to you before, I've all my figures were handed down apart from my Jedi ones. Didn't have either of them until the 90s. I think I had quite a few Forloms without capes when I did my old school sweep of everybody.
Been out beating up kids for their Star Wars figures again. What's this one? This isn't Star Wars. What's this black droid thing?
I think Forlom's massively underrated as a figure.
Yeah.
I think it's really. I mean, I'm just looking at them now. Actually, Bosk is the biggest toot out of the bounty hunters, which we'll get on later. But he's up. He's up there. He's the top in the top two, isn't he?
Let's see. I've got a funny story about Zuckuss. Actually, I got Vorlum and Zuckuss for Christmas the year I got all my Jedi figures. I didn't have a clue who they were. I would have been about 4 years old, and I was in primary school. And I took Zuckuss, must have been after Christmas, into school with me, and I dropped him down a urinal. So that's where my Zuckuss ended up.
I
just washed away in a sea of piss. That's a good analogy for the figure, I reckon.
About 6-7 years ago, I bought a Forlom on eBay US to come to the UK, and it flew across the country, across the world in a jiffy bag, and it was immaculate still when it arrived. So how the hell that had come? Oh yeah, got it from America, thinking it had come in a box or something. Yeah, little jiffy bag came through my letterbox and had survived. It was perfect. Haven't got it anymore, but nice figure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have we all got? Oh, obviously you've mentioned Age of Soldier. Has anyone else got them carded or loose?
No.
I'm guessing we've all got them loose.
Yeah.
They're easy to get loose, right?
I did before my big sale of 2016, but I would like to get a Palatoy Forlom, but yeah.
Oh, Echo.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Quite a nice little side focus.
it
For
would. Yeah.
Have you got
Yes.
a main focus? Me saying side focus. I don't know what you're like, but
Mate, I'm gone 50 now. I'm struggling to focus at the best of times, let alone Star Wars.
I'm going to be honest. I have to say this, Jez. Out of all four of us, you look most like Forlom.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, here you go. We can have Peter's Bosk, and we'll get you a trench coat and a little mask thing to put on, and we got Forlom or Bosk and Forlom with us. What are me and you going to go as, Stu?
Height doesn't matter then, does it, when it comes to this? Because is Forlom, what would you say height-wise? I think, obviously, IG is the tallest one. Who's the tallest out of us four?
Dan, I think.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, I'll put a cone on my head and pretend I'm IG-88.
Yeah, so
You could be Dengar, Dan. Do you remember that time we went? I'm going back about 10 years now. We were out on a weekend away, and you had that toilet paper attached to the back of your trousers.
Yeah, I do.
So that's Dengar, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
So this is working. so Dan's Dengar, Pete's Bosk, I'm Forlom. So that just means that Stu's getting flushed out of
Boba Fett.
urinal. Boba Fett. Sorry, that was an involuntary laugh. You can absolutely pull off Fett, Stu. You can. You go there.
Yeah, so I think so.
Yeah.
What do we each think of these two card backs when we look at them? I think the Zuckuss one is probably one of the stronger images that are used. It's certainly more clearer than Forlom is. He's a bit of a, so he's got quite a lot of backlight behind him. He's can't really make out much of his face. I do quite like the Zuckuss one. What are opinions on these?
Yeah, I like both of them. The Zuckuss one is from the sort of below, isn't it? Which we've seen quite a lot with the bounty hunters. That image sort of taken from the Star Destroyer bridge. Obviously reused a lot of those photos. The forearm's weird. It looks like he's sort of someone just said something, and he's like, "What?" He's looking to the right a little bit, isn't he? He's got a side glance.
They must have had such limited photography for these characters.
He's really blurred because half of his head's in sort of shadow. So
how dare you? You're ruining my childhood memories.
I think it looks great on the card. I just think the image, particularly when you on its own, just isn't great. I was in Forbidden Planet in Brighton at the weekend, and they had all the vintage collection stuff up, and they did have that Dengar that we was talking about in the last episode. Pete, remember I was saying it was the very first vintage collection figure they did was Dengar.
Yes.
This new release is 001A. They've put an A on it. It has got an alternative image, which is a close-up shot of his face rather than that blurry image that we previously had on the vintage card packs. Going off Pete a little bit.
Yeah, they done Forlom in vintage collection.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Stu's
our modern expert. What do you think, Stu? Have they done a Zuckuss on vintage collection?
Zuckuss as in Forlom.
Yeah, I think they've done both of them, haven't they? Because they didn't do a twin pack and they corrected the names on them.
They did do the twin pack, yeah.
Wasn't that retro, or was it?
No,
they did. Yeah, you're right.
They definitely did it, yeah.
It was boxed, wasn't it? Like a box set of the two.
Yeah, in a box, Pete, yeah.
Made a cardboard.
Probably, yeah.
I think what we'll do when we on one of the FET shows, maybe the last show, we'll do another mini committee on the card backs, and we'll rank the card backs.
Oh, you got two bets in there, haven't we?
That's all right.
Yeah,
and we got a top 7, haven't we? Or we got a top 5, and 2 get relegated.
Sure. I do think you're asking about the card backs, what we think just now. The Empire Strikes Back one, let's say the 45A with the Bounty Hunter offer, the Palatoy logo, the blue, and then the red background of the Forlom. I think all of those colours aesthetically, and I don't think I've got nostalgia rose tinted spectacles here.
No.
But I think aesthetically that works so well, particularly with the Empire logo. And the Zuckuss one, which I love, is the Zuckuss Ledy one, where it brings the nameplate over to the left, so it's just above the bubble as opposed to it being centered. That the Ledy ones, they do that really, really well, so you get to see so much more of the picture, and the Ledy Zuckuss really looks great.
Any opinions on these two card backs, Stu?
I like the Forlom. Zuckuss wouldn't be in my top 50.
Does he suck ass?
I don't know. There's no need for that.
Over to you then, Jez. The Beyond the Toys items for Forlom and Zuckuss. Take it away.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's, when we say it's slim pickings, it really, really is. And the only thing which I've been able to find are tattoos. Which, so I know we usually go for Beyond the Toys stuff. So I went onto the Beyond the Toys Facebook group, and where you've got the search function now on Facebook groups. Forlom, nothing. It's like, if you spelt that right, there's nothing for Forlom in that group, according to the search. I've had a little look around, and not in the vintage era. I can't find anything else. I don't know if you guys have. There's no doubt there's going to be some trading cards and stickers, from sticker albums and bits and pieces. But I did have a couple of hits come up on tattoos. We've got one. They're calling it Forlom. It's Zuckuss, but it actually looks pretty good. And there's a few other tattoos of bounty hunters all together. And you've got Forlom looking pretty good, Bosk looking pretty good, and FET. So, actually, I'd missed this when we did the Bosk show. There's a lot of love for Bosk tattoos. I mean, I was at a the Newbury Tattoo Convention a couple of years ago, and I saw an absolutely amazing Bouche getting done, Leah Bouche. It was absolutely superb. So, Star Wars tattoos. Do you know what? We should do a show. But anyway, I've got nothing in Craig's Corner, unfortunately. What have you guys found? Sorry to let you down so badly.
So the only item that I've got, and I own it, and it's only because I own it that I know about it, is a fan club postcard size decal. So there's 2 of them. There's one with if you're familiar with the Yoda Macquarie picture of him standing in Dagobah, looking up all wise and clever, and all the other creatures from Dagobah around him. You familiar with that one? I think it was used for the radio drama. It was advertising that in the States. It was used for that. And then there's a bounty hunter one with all 5 of the bounty hunters bar Dengar quarry drawing. So that came on a postcard, so it's decal. I think that was originally sold by the fan club, and then it became part of the kind of the starter pack when you signed up. So that was the only item I could find with Forlom and Zuckuss on.
They're on the placemats, is it Arcadia placemats? They appear there?
No, they're not on there. It's only the 4 we've already spoken about.
You'd
And
have thought
3 and Boba Fett.
You'd have thought they'd have been on all sorts of stuff, wouldn't you, as the 6 bounty hunters?
Nope, nothing at all. No candy heads, no Burger King glasses, no vinyl carry cases.
You get the group shots in books, and so there's photographs, but that's it. It's not much at all.
The Rebel Alliance is too well equipped. They're more dangerous than you realize.
Hi, this is Ron Salvatore of the Star Wars Collectors Archive. I've recorded bits on several bounty hunters over the last couple of months. I must have done okay, as the Generation Skywalker guys have asked me back to discuss the final 2, Forlom and Zuckuss. Or is it Zuckuss and Forlom? Geez, I guess there's no avoiding getting into the naming issue. As most vintage collectors know, the gray droid is Zuckuss and the brown guy who looks like Mothra is Forlom. Right? I mean, we know this, don't we? Because that's what the action figures were called. And how would you know the names of those characters if not by the names of their action figures? It's not like they're named in the movie. I mean, do I look like a walking Wikipedia over here? Let's be honest, it was Lucasfilm that screwed this up in the 90s by deciding to switch their names. Zuckuss became Forlom, and Forlom became Zuckuss. Imagine if the record label of Daryl Hall and John Oates had decided to switch their names in like 1986, and their act was renamed to Oates and Hall. That's the kind of trauma vintage collectors endured when Lucasfilm mandated the Great Bounty Hunter naming switcheroo. According to Steve Sansweet in his excellent Star Wars, The Ultimate Action Figure Collection, the change in names came at the urging of role-playing licensee West End Games, who informed Lucasfilm that Forlom sounded like a droid name and Zuckuss like an alien name. Leave it to the role-playing nerds to screw everything up. Lucasfilm agreed and made the change, though it remains open to debate whether Kenner's original naming was wrong in the 80s or simply deemed wrong in the 90s. Personally, I suspect the names hardly mattered in 1982, even to parent company Lucasfilm. As I mentioned earlier, the characters aren't named in the movie. Kenner could have called them Regis and Kathy Lee and kids hardly would have noticed. But by the 90s, the finer points of licensing had become more important. West End Games was busy monetizing every single background character, no matter how partially visible. Hence Hammerhead became Noba Jojo, or whatever the heck he's known as now. Anyway, I'm choosing to ignore all of this nonsense because it makes me feel like I'm talking about Star Trek. For the purposes of this recording, Zuckuss is the robot, and Forlom is the Mothra-looking guy. And Hammerhead is still Hammerhead, which is as it should be. Oh, you've probably noticed that I'm calling him Forlom and not 4LOM. The latter is certainly the correct pronunciation, but I just can't do it. I've always called him Forlom. And if I try to call him 4LOM, which is kind of hard to get your mouth around, I'll never get through this recording. Sorry about that. Names aside, both figures debuted in 1982. Technically, though, Zuckuss was released first. This was on the 47 back blister card. Forlom was held back so that Kenner could advertise him on that card as a mail-away, the last of the ESB era. If you collect proof cards, you may be aware that Kenner originally planned to debut Forlom and Zuckuss, along with the TIE Pilot, on the card with the Display Arena offer printed on it. Proofs of these cards exist, which is how we know about the original plan. What I'm saying is that, originally, all of the 1982 figures were to debut together. But for whatever reason, the decision was made to stagger the release of these figures, and so Luke Hoth, AT-AT Commander, Black Bespin Guard, and Cloud Card Pilot debuted on the 45-back card, TIE Pilot and Zuckuss on the 47-back card, and Forlom on the 48-back card. Those Display Arena proof cards tell us another thing, that Forlom wasn't always planned as a mail-away. In fact, Kenner likely didn't make the decision to delay his carded figure debut until well into 1982. Okay, I gotta make this personal for a moment, because Forlom is the first action figure mail-away in which I participated. I remember getting him in the mail, opening the box and thinking, who the heck is this guy? Like thousands of other kids, I didn't remember him from the movie. But I was immediately struck by the figure's heavy soft goods coat. It made Forlam seem novel and perhaps even a bit luxurious. In fact, I remember my mother being impressed by this as well. For her, the soft goods element that Kenner introduced into the line in the ESB years, notably on the Yoda and Forlam figures, bespoke a commitment to quality. She felt she was getting more for her money in buying one of these figures than she was in buying, say, Lando Calrissian in his chintzy vinyl cape. I'm guessing my mother wasn't the only one who felt this way, as Kenner entirely abandoned the vinyl capes after the first wave of ESB figures. Hey, if your company makes and sells toys, you gotta cater to the moms. That's just how it works. The Forlam offer, which expired on August 31st, 1982, allowed consumers to exchange 5 proof-of-purchase seals for one wrongly named but luxuriously attired bug guy with a novel-looking blaster accessory. The offer was promoted to Kenner's wholesale buyers in the company's 1982 Consumer Promotions catalog. Here's the accompanying text. Kids can receive Forlam, a fierce bounty hunter from Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, just by purchasing 5 Star Wars action figures and sending in the proofs of purchase seals. Forlam will not be otherwise available during the promotion. Offer expires August 31, 1982. Not very inspiring, I'm afraid. Fierce bounty hunter is about all you get by way of characterization. Kenner had come a long way from the days of the Boba Fett and Bosk mailaways, both of which came packaged with cool little flyers explaining who they were and why they were awesome. Now you just got the figure and had to take Kenner's word for it that he was in the movie. Even the 30-second TV commercial produced to advertise Forlam doesn't provide much information about him. By the way, have you seen this ad? It's available on YouTube and features a kid who looks like a young Republican placidly pitching Star Wars figures as though they were as boring as life insurance. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that Kenner didn't put much effort into stoking excitement for Forlam. Maybe by that point they didn't need to? They knew kids would want a new figure no matter how boring he was. Maybe they even liked the boringness at some level. Now that I'm older, I kind of feel this way about a lot of things, like girlfriends and presidents. I'll take a boring one, thank you. What I'm saying is that boringness might be underrated. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, Zuckuss was released before Forlam, but they were both more or less part of the same wave of figures, the 48-back wave. I know what you're thinking. Didn't you just claim the release of the 82 figures was staggered, that some were released on 45-back card, etc.? Yeah, I did. Still, I think it's fair to think of these as the 48-back wave of figures. After all, it was only due to marketing concerns that they weren't all released together. They're also presented as a group on the Collect All 48 store display mobile. Perhaps the most extravagant store display issued by Kenner to promote the action figure line, this 3-sided mobile devotes an entire side to the figures that Kenner considered new as of the debut of the 48-back blister cards. And it shows both Zuckuss and Forlam alongside 7 other figures. If you're doing the math in your head and wondering how the line expanded from 41 to 48 figures while adding 9 new ones, don't worry. You're likely forgetting that Kenner promoted the updated versions of the droids as new figures, and since these replaced the old versions, the total figure count really expanded by only 7. Both Forlam and Zuckuss were available throughout the Return of the Jedi line. In Europe, Zuckuss was sold in a tri-logo card. Forlam, on the other hand, is one of the few figures that cannot be found with a tri-logo card front. If you want him on a European card, you'll have to make do with the modified ROTJ front and a tri-logo back. Oh, Forlam was also available on Palitoy card, and I guess that qualifies as European. There aren't too many production rarities to discuss when it comes to Forlam and Zuckuss. Probably the most notable one is a multi-pack issued by Sears Canada, which included the TIE Pilot, Hoth Rebel Soldier, and our friend Zuckuss, the TIE Pilot and Zuckuss being new at that time. These packs have unique graphics that make them desirable to collectors. Unfortunately, they're so rare that few have a hope of obtaining one. Zuckuss was also sold in a 3-pack along with AT-AT Driver and TIE Pilot. Known as the Imperial set, it was part of Kenner's department store incentive program. It's quite rare. Oh, and there's Zuckuss again in a couple of mail-order packages sold through American catalog retailers. Forlam, for some reason, wasn't included in any of these special packages. Man, our boy Forlam just wasn't very popular, was he? Hold up, though, there are a couple of Forlam rarities worth discussing. The first is the 47-back carded figure with no printed offer. The last I checked, this was widely considered to be an Australian release. The 48-back Forlom with no printed offer is also quite rare. So those are two treasures to hunt if you're a fan of Forlom. Also out there is a one-of-a-kind mock-up representing the Forlom figure on a Revenge of the Jedi card. This item, which can be seen on the Star Wars Collector's Archive, originated with the former manager of Kenner's New York showroom. It was probably displayed at Toy Fair. What about other prototypes? Well, there is at least one painted hard copy of the Forlom figure. You can see a photo of it on, you guessed it, the Star Wars Collector's Archive. A hard copy is a model of a figure made using a hand-poured urethane material. They're quite rare. Several hard copy parts also exist for Zuckuss, though I don't think I've seen a complete figure. What about sculpts? Well, to my knowledge, the sculpt for the Forlom figure has never surfaced. This is also true of Zuckuss, unless we consider his head. That's right, the head sculpt for Zuckuss has survived, though it's quite a bit different from the one that went into production. Because the head is composed of acetate, we know that Zuckuss was sculpted by Bill Lemon. I talked a bit about Lemon in my piece on IG-88, so I won't get into this again. Suffice it to say that the hard lines of the Zuckuss figure were an ideal match for Lemon's peculiar talents. At some point the head was likely resculpted in wax. As weird as this sounds, it wasn't uncommon for Kenner sculpts to be modified prior to production, even ones done by Bill Lemon. Something similar happened in the case of General Madine. Lemon sculpted the figure in acetate, but the head was redone in wax. In the case of Madine, both the acetate and wax heads survive, but for Zuckuss we have just that acetate alternate. When dealing with sculpts, though, it's a blessing that anything survived at all. You can see this acetate Zuckuss head on the Star Wars Collector's Archive. It's strikingly different from the head found on the production figure. Where packaging is concerned, the original art for the Zuckuss cardback exists. It's certainly one of the best pieces out there concerning the Zuckuss action figure. As far as I know, the art for the Forlom card is not known to exist. But you never know, maybe it's lurking out there somewhere just waiting to be discovered. The end of the Return of the Jedi line was also the end of the line for Zuckuss and Forlom. Power of the Force proof cards exist for both characters, and a carded POTF Zuckuss is shown in Kenner's 1985 catalog, but the figures were never released on those cards. There is a Zuckuss coin, though, which is nice. Okay, so now that we've finished discussing the bounty hunters, how do I rank them? I think first place has to go to IG-88, just because he's so weird, like a weaponized Tin Man, and of course he has 2 guns. Second place I'm awarding to Bosk. He's a giant lizard, and it's cool that he was advertised as the secret action figure. Plus, he has a speaking role in The Empire Strikes Back, sort of. Third place I'm giving to Zuckuss. It's kind of a cool looking figure and he has a neat accessory. That's what I'm going with on that one. Forlom is 4th in my book. I dig the soft goods robe and the unique weapon, but I mean, there's just something underwhelming about him. He kind of looks like Lobot wearing a Halloween costume. And last place is, of course, Dengar. I just think Dengar is something close to a peg warmer. I recall seeing him as a child left behind in stores unwanted, along with Imperial Commander and the Asian Bespin Guard. He's not a droid, he's not an alien, he doesn't have a cool accessory, and he looks like he just survived a car accident. Sorry, Dengar, you may be cooler than an Ewok, but you're the least cool bounty hunter. And with that, I'm signing off. Thanks to the Generation Skywalker guys for allowing me to bore you like this.
You did it!
Thanks for that, Ron. Another comprehensive overview. You're anything but boring, my friend. But I can't say I agree with your ranking on Dengar, but more on that later. Regards to the Forlom mail-away offer, it was available in the US, obviously, as well as Canada, Australia and the UK. I've got a Kenner graded 85 example in my own collection and bought that a couple of years ago, I think, for about £150. So compared to Fett, Bosk and Dengar mailers, it's relatively affordable and fairly plentiful. The Palatoy offer does have me still scratching my head though. So back in 1982, it was never advertised as being part of the Bounty Hunter promotion, which would have been in full swing at that time, and instead it was advertised on over-stickered Kenner imported cards. Now, as this is our 150th recording, I wanted to find a way to include a little of Craig. So here's an old clip of me and Craig, I think it was back in the Palatoy Guide Part 2, talking Palatoy promotions from the Empire era, and I bring up the UK 4-LOM offer and asked him what memories he had of that.
Yeah, what we saw in the Empire era as opposed to the Star Wars era is Palatoy get very offer-led. I think it was probably enough just to say, the toys of the film are here, come and get them, kids. But they get a little bit more, marketing led, as previously discussed already. The mailaways that all prompted their own ads. So you had the Fett and the Dengar advertising that appeared in a lot of the kids' press at the time. I think certainly the Fett was a leaflet that you could pick up in the stores. But there were some really nice ads that tied to these offers. So the Vader carry case is a lovely ad that promotes the Bounty Hunter collector scheme. We've got the display arena ad as well, which is a lovely, they adopted this sort of art style where the point of view was at the figure's feet. So you think about the Fett and the Dengar, it was making them look larger than life. And that was carried through to the display arena as well. You're looking at the baseline or the horizon line and they're all kind of towering above you in the ad. And I think it just makes for really kind of arresting imagery. And that display arena one's particularly nice because it's in colour. It's one of the few that are in colour.
Until you start digging into these things, it was like the 4-LOM. They never did, although it was offered in the UK, it was primarily on the back of Kenner imported card backs with a Palatoy label on the back, but there wasn't an equivalent of what they did with Dengar and Boba Fett for that.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So it would have been purely advertised on the backs of card backs, and you wouldn't, unless you happened to be somewhere where you'd get a Kenner import card back with that sticker on, you wouldn't even know it was there.
No, and it passed me by. I did the Fett offer, I did the Dengar offer. I was all over that carry case, like you wouldn't believe.
Did any of us get the 4-LOM offer as a kid, or would we all get it carded?
Yeah, I don't remember it. I don't remember that offer as a kid. So what's the timeline of that compared to, because he was on a 45A, so what was the timeline? He must have been...
They've been out at the same time.
Yeah, well, they held it, didn't they, in the States, because they've got sort of pre-production stuff for the 45, but he never came out until later. So did we get him? Did we get him as a carded figure before the Americans?
I think we did.
So then they just would have been overstocks, which they've just run off stickers for the...
Yeah.
So what was the mailer exactly the same? It's the same mailer that was sent everywhere, just the same box.
I think it's got slightly different dimensions. It didn't have the little catalogue in it. It's pretty standard with Palatoy. We normally just got the baggie in the box. So yeah.
It's gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time.
Good evening, Mark. How are you doing?
Good evening, Pete. Hello, mate.
We've done ID88, we've done Bosk, we've done Dengar, and tonight we're on our double show with 4-LOM and Zuckuss. I'm quite a fan of the 4-LOM figure, and I think I know of a couple of variants, but I think you're probably going to tell me about a few more. So what do I need to know on 4-LOM?
Kenner's bug-eye phase. 4-LOM looks cool when you see him as a complete figure, but this one is actually you strip this figure of his accessories.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, this could be a bit of a hot take. I think 4-LOM is the flop of all flops. Is there anything more depressing than looking through a box of beta figures at some convention and you're just looking at like the beigest, blandest, unpainted figure with like these absurd looking, what do you call them, like pantaloons? What are they? What is he wearing? What did they put on this? Is it any wonder, Pete, why they put a trench coat on this thing from head to toe to cover it up, to cover up the shame of this figure in his naked form?
Do you not think the cape takes place? The cape is good, though. Do you like the cape? Where are you at with the cape?
The cape is, I mean, the cape his cloak saves it. It absolutely, that's just a deus ex machina. They've pulled it out at the last minute by putting this thing up because it was just, I think they must have realized that something was absolutely rotten with the way that they come up with the form of this figure. Anyway, it's just when you see it there, he's beige, he's all puffy, his clothing is all, he's like a pirate in Star Wars form with a bug head.
He's got. I was looking at it.
Summit. What can I say? It's a flop summit.
He's almost got sort of. Is it Pingu? He's got sort of Pingu vibes going on, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, even in practical terms, you're Forlom. You're going into any fight. You come up against like any one of the other bounty hunters. In that case, you're getting wrecked. You're not coming out of that fight in one piece. When I kind of just looked at it just objectively, I thought, hang on, we've got problems here. All that aside, the figure itself, it does have some kind of cool variations. So we'll zip through him. He's pretty easy, thankfully.
Yep.
2 mold families. So one, which is a bit unusual. I want to say it's possibly end of Empire Strikes Back. It's one of the late release figures. Perhaps they didn't sort of see there'd be as much demand at that stage. I don't know. But anyway, only the 2 factories producing this figure. So we have Smile and Unitoy.
Okay.
The Smile figure, they do a Noku version towards the end of Return of the Jedi. So, erased the Made in Hong Kong off the back of the leg. The figure itself, in terms of paint, there's not much paint on it. There's not much going on with this figure. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So he's kind of, you can have all the different, kind of quote unquote variations, and they all kind of just look the same. The Unitoy one has probably got a slightly more yellowy beige as opposed to the reddish beige, I want to say. And the Unitoy one, again, Unitoy, the molds from that one went to PvP in Spain. For their sort of early Return of the Jedi release. I mean, the PvP one, again, they saved it. They saved this figure. You've got some cool variations there. It's the same Kenner accessories, except for the reddish, the harness, like he wears his cloak and he's got that sort of brownish harness that he wears over the top.
What do we call that? Is that armor? Is it? I don't know what you
Armor? Yeah, sure, that works.
But it does save the figure. And it's actually, like, I've got 2 examples in front of me, and they're both the armor's pretty tight on there. I don't want to take it off, but
yeah,
because I haven't seen it naked, I can't kind of.
Whatever you do, keep his kit on. He stays cool as long as he's got his kit on. Yeah, so their version of that harness has got like a reddish kind of tone to it. So that's the bit that sort of stands it out. Other than that, the figure kind of, you can't tell much. There's not much between it. It's the same cloak. The cloaks and the harnesses, because kids sort of, they strip them off, they put them back on again, they tend to tear a lot at the back, but, no big deal. It's a cheap accessory as long as you get the right one for that particular factory. And I mean, top to bottom, that's kind of it. There's not much more to say about, bug-eyed Forlom.
How hard to get is the red armor? Is that quite a tough one to get, the pinkish sort of PvP version?
I wouldn't say, I mean, when variant collecting was in its absolute prime, these ones, they would definitely go for a few hundred pounds. Now, there's been kind of enough of them found over in Spain, sold to the guys that, sort of want to pay that kind of money. So yeah, the price has probably slipped on them over the last 5 years, I want to say. Yeah. They're not, they're not PvP figures that were exported. So you're not going to find them over here unless it's like some kid bringing one back from holiday by chance.
Yep.
But, having said that, it's still a pretty expensive figure, I guess, for a lot of people. You're looking at a probably 200 quid for one nowadays, I suppose, in decent condition. And it's just that red harness. And there's actually 2 variations on the red harness. There's just like a slightly sort of reddish one and a brownish one. But if you want to get into the weeds, the blaster or his rifle. Actually, there's probably one thing worth mentioning. The rifle with this one here, you've got Smile and you've got the Unitoy. And those are the rifles that were found with the PvP one. Yeah. There's no PvP exclusive for the rifle itself, so it's just it's a cannon gun, basically. There are reproductions on this one. We don't talk about reproductions sort of so much in our little entries here on the in the podcast, but we probably should mention it from time to time. There are some really close reproductions for this rifle, so do your homework. It's not an expensive gun in any case, but nobody likes to get ripped off. So yeah. it's not just a case of checking it, making sure it floats. You've got to look at every detail on the actual rifle itself, because the reproductions these days, as most people know, are made from the same plastic as the original ones were. Now, yeah, the newer ones, it's really clean. Like, it's just far too clean, or alternatively, you can see little lines on it where it's been laser scanned on the reproductions, the really high quality ones you get, now. That's one there to be careful of. It is actually quite hard to tell.
So sticking with the bug-eyed bounty hunters, we move over to Zuckuss.
Zuckuss, yeah.
You like him a bit more?
Zuckuss is cool. Yeah, Zuckuss is like, let's take C-3PO and stick a bug head on him.
Indeed.
It's anything and stick a bug head on it. But yeah, no, Zuckuss is cool. Again, 2 mold families. Smile and Unitoy, this one. And just to add a little kind of twist to the bounty hunters we've talked about so far, Zuckuss is the exception. The family, what we call Family 2, which was the one that was at the mold family that was at Unitoy. Okay. That didn't go to PBP. That one went to Liddy Leddy in Mexico. So this is, I think, the first of the figures that we've talked about so far that it's involved Liddy Leddy. So yeah, Liddy Leddy's the Mexican producer. They did a lot of figures during the Return of the Jedi era. And Zuckuss is one of the rare Empire Strikes Back release figures that actually made its way to Liddy Leddy for, a production run over there. Yeah. Yeah, so how can we tell all these figures apart? Because again, there's not much paint on it. I mean, there's a bit of silver on the torso. He's got a red dot on his nose. He's got bluish grey eyes. Kind of, am I missing anything? That's about it, really. Silver dots under where his mouth is. Yeah, so all you've got to go on is just like the plastic itself. So, some of them are darker, some of them are more silver. They've got some of them got more of a metallic fleck through them. It's a tricky one. If I'm honest, this is quite a tricky figure to discern one from the other.
So is that red? It's very light. The one I've got, the red is very, very faint. I guess that's where I assume it is. So you do see some quite bright red noses.
It's probably the Smile one. That's the most common one. Unless you've sort of gone out of your way to find something else. The Unitoy one, Unitoy one is like slightly darker, I want to say. I mean, there are sort of other little points of interest. The Smile ones have, if you look at the back of the legs, just where the knee would be, but at the back of that, Smile stamped a 1, 2, 3, or a 4 in that sort of joint there. It's just the way they could sort of identify different parts from different cavities in the tool. That's great. So yeah, no, that's quite, if you want a little mini focus. You don't really get many Zuckuss focus collectors in all forms, for that matter. It's one of these kind of figures that just are slept on a little bit, I want to say. Maybe because you don't get like exciting, major color variations or something like that, or red bars or whatever it might be. He does slide a little bit.
It's quite easy to get hold of as well. Those two, I guess the ladies were trickier, but
yeah. So on the back of the Smile one, you got numbers on the back of the Unitoy figure in the exact same spot, back of the leg, kind of opposite where to where your knee would be. There's a round EPM, injected pin mark. So that's the pin that pushes that part from the tool, to sort of help if to dig it out, it gets pushed out automatically. So there's those two there. Now the Unitoy mold that I mentioned that went to Liddy Leddy, it then went back. This is with a scarred out COO, not to Unitoy, but it went back to Cader's China factory. So it started at Unitoy in Hong Kong. It goes to Liddy Leddy for a production run there. And then at that point, they were starting to become more efficient in the way that they were producing these parts and, looking for cost savings wherever they could. And Cater China was where this particular mold finished its run. So there's a Cater China version as well. You can tell that one, he's got a very dull rubbery type of head. The plastic they used in his head was a very dull rubbery sort of color. If you really want to get into the weeds, there's some of these Cater China ones that actually have overstock parts from Unitoy. So any parts that they didn't use in Hong Kong that were just sitting there, perhaps in boxes or something like that, they shipped them across to the Cater's China plant, where they carried on making the figure later on. So you do get some figures where you get you'll get like mixed up parts, like transition versions of the figure. Quite hard to find, but it's only something if you really know what you're looking for or care about. a little sort of minor micro focus of mine. I like all that sort of stuff. I like seeing bits where you do get a little bit of crossover between different production runs. So yeah, that's something to look for as well if you wanted to get into a Zuckuss run.
It's amazing they know the trace, or they know the where the molds went. Is that sort of pretty well documented, or is that being a result of
No, it's not really. I mean, there's a few of us that kind of looked at Zuckuss with a bit of interest a couple of years ago, but I haven't done a guide on it. We'll cover all that sort of stuff. It will go up. We're not sort of gatekeeping into this thing. We just can only get to it as we can get to it at the moment. Life is just really busy, so it's just tough to get enough time to produce the guides that we were on fire with back at the days of COVID.
Indeed.
Yeah,
He's got a pretty funky weapon as well. That's unique to him, isn't it?
Yeah, great point. The rifle on this one is very cool. Again, not much variation in the mold between the ones that went to different factories. In fact, one has an EPM, one doesn't. So that's how we can tell this one goes with this particular factory, that one goes with that one. And that's pretty much it. It's just the size of the EPM. So there's, again, not a lot in it. Perhaps also contributing to why it's a little bit slept on this figure. I didn't cover it before, actually. I'll add it in now just for the sake of being completionist. The Liddy Leddy version and the Cater China one share the same COO. None of these figures, are like made in Mexico. They basically just take the exact same molds that they were given and produce them in Mexico, regardless of whatever it says on the back of it. They weren't instructed to change the COOs, or weren't allowed to, or whatever it was, didn't need to. So this one is just it's like a blobbed out COO. But the reason you can tell it's the Mexican version is he's got his nose. That's the key thing, is the nose. It's very, very bright red on the Liddy Leddy one, whereas the other ones tend to be a little bit more of a, I guess, like a crimson red sort of color, I suppose. So
Should
yeah,
be fairly easy to spot, hopefully.
Yeah, no, it'll be a good one for a guide, just to sort of try and help clarify all this sort of stuff. It's one thing to talk about, it's another thing to see pictures. And unfortunately, I can't back up any of the stuff with pictures yet, but hey, we'll get there.
Can't urge everyone enough to check out variantvillain.com to have a deeper dive into these figures and the variants. They've got some amazing galleries on there, packed with great info, superb content as ever. So yeah, thanks again, Mark. Really appreciate your time, and look forward to the next one.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks a lot.
Nice one.
It's only big enough for the both of us.
Pete, if you want to give us an overview of Forlom and the card backs he came on.
So yeah, Forlom, he was on the final wave of the ESB figures on the 48 backs released in 1982. Looking at sort of loose figures, he seems very plentiful considering sort of the what seems like a bit of a lack of carded figures of him. He seems to be everywhere as a loose figure and quite available. So whether it was just massive overstocks of mailers that have got out there or opened baggies, but he is out there. And he normally turns up in pretty good condition unless he's lost his cape, and he just looks awful. I think looking on Tracker, you can get him for about 18 to 25 pounds average. So not too bad. And I had my childhood one, and I got came in a bag, looked like overstocks. So I guess they have found loads of overstocks of these at some stage. And I got that for 15 quid about 5 or 6 years ago. So I think they're still out there. Obviously, you're going to pay more if you want to go into the variants. You've got the PvP red armor variant, which is very nice. Seems to have come down. Looking, I'm talking to Mark about these. These went for sort of 700-800, but they seem to have chilled out a bit now, and I think they are quite not impossible to get. I think they're tough, but they are out there if you do see.
Yeah, I saw one. I don't know if it was on Jabbers or Echo a few weeks ago, and it was someone with like 125 euros for one.
Oh,
and
right,
I don't know if it ended up selling. I was going to sleep on it and never got back round to buying it. I did consider buying it because I do quite like that red armor. It does stand out. It does, compared to the brown one. It looks when you've got it on the shelf, they look quite different against each other.
Yeah, so that's the PvP one. So I guess it's exactly the same. Well, it must be the same figure. They just got a different armor. So whether it's slightly different tan on the soft goods, I don't know. But it doesn't look good. I think there's 3 of them lined up on the Variant Villain site. Look pretty smart. So yeah, going for carded figures, he was the last Empire Strikes Back figure to be released with a mail away offer running at the same time. So we have a situation that gives rise to some pretty rare carded figures. First one being the Empire Strikes Back 47 back. I think Yeah, Ron sort of covers this. I think there's a belief that this is an Australian release. I think there's only about one known of this, and it's seen as being the rarest of the carded Empire Strikes Back figures of that entire line. He pretty much always turns up on the 48C, which is the Admiral Akbar mail away offer. There's one known 47 back Forlom. In addition to that, you've got the 48A, which is the only other way you're going to get him on an offerless front, which is also super rare. And there's only 4 graded examples through AFA known on that. And earlier this year, through the Jeff Jacobs auction, one went for just under $19,000. That was AFA 60. So it gives you an idea of what they're like. So if you kind of got one of those at a higher grade, so that's a 60, and it went for 19,000 including fees. So
I reckon you should get that one, Jez. That one would fit really nice in your collection.
I looked at this, right, because it equated to £15,000, didn't it? 15,300, as you say, for an AFA 60, right? Amazing. And it's saying, from the Jeff Jacob, there's only 4 graded ones available. However, 2 months later, one sold on Netherlands eBay for £66.
What?
So, let's say AFA 60, it's not going to be in the greatest of shape. But yeah, there was one in 2014 for £161. And then this one, for 15 UK £1,000, the Jeff Jacob one. And then, £66 on the 1st of March, 2025, eBay. And that exact one. So,
look forward to seeing that at Hakes next year then.
Someone got a bargain there. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
so just forgot to mention on that 47 back, it's also got the free, hasn't got it on the front, it's offerless on the front, but it's pretty nuts because it's got the free Forlom offer on the back, which is just pretty crazy to have the offer of the same figure on the back of the card. So very cool piece. But I think there's one known example of that. So 47A and the 48A, super rare. If you want a sort of more of a down-to-earth budget on an Empire Strikes Back card, you're going to have to settle for the 48B and C, which is the Revenge offer. And he also comes on a Return of the Jedi Num offer, Return of the Jedi 65, A, B, and C, and Return of the Jedi 77, A and B, and the 65 back Emperor offer with the sort of the slide on the corner. You've got the sort of yellow offer for the Emperor, and then the 77 back Anakin offer. So he's not out there too much, especially if you want him on an Empire card. You're going to have to settle for that 48B or C. But
I remember when I was putting, like 10 years ago or more now, when I was putting my Empire run together initially and kind of finding out about each figure and then some of these rarities coming up, because I obviously wanted Forlom on an Empire card. It was like, geez, it was one of the hardest ones to kind of track down. But in the end, I didn't settle for it. But I got the 45B, which is the offerless Empire card, and I remember posting a photo of it on. At the time, the Empire Strikes Back collectors group was really, it was really buzzing back then. It's kind of died off a bit now, but I remember putting a photo of it up there and a few of the American collectors going, why didn't I know about this? I need an offerless Forlom. It's a great alternative to be able to go and get that. Obviously, it hasn't got Kenner printed on the front, but unless you want to go and spend 19 grand on one, it's a great alternative if you're going after an offerless run.
Have you still got that?
No, I switched it out for the. I've got the 45A now.
Okay, they both look really nice. They're lovely together, those two. Yeah, moving over to Europe, to Clipper, you got a ESB printed Clipper offer on a 45 back, and then you've got the 45A Bounty Hunter offer, which is lovely. I'm not sure, but I think there might be one of those coming up at auction quite soon. But don't tell anyone about that. And you've got the ESB offerless front with the 45 back, which Dan, you just mentioned, and then going on to Jedi. You've got a 65 back, which is a Chewbacca Bandolier offer. Moving over to PBP, you've got a 45 back with the Imperico Contra Attacker ESB logo, which looks stunning with the one free figure offer, one figure gratis offer. And then you've got an El Retorno del Jedi 65 back coming from PBP. So you've got some gorgeous card backs there and probably quite a few hard ones to get hold of. A couple of Palitoy ones and probably your easiest ones to get, I would have thought, for Empire.
No, I don't think it's one I'd want to do as a focus collector. That does sound a bit rough, that. Some of that, you want to run of those, it's going to be pricey.
Yeah, you hit a wall pretty fast, an expensive wall.
Forlom, he wasn't on the Tri-Logo. I don't know if you mentioned that, right? Is it worth noting that?
No, he wasn't. He didn't appear at all on the Tri-Logo. He's not even on a transition card. Yeah, so you can't even get him I don't know if he's turned up on a miss card. I don't think he has, is he? Because that's obviously like the squad commander. That's the only way you get him on for that run. There's a few, isn't there? Power droid hit for long on the spot now, but I think there's a few you can't get at all if you're doing that tri-Lego run.
It's Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back action figures. 47 in all, each sold separately. Here's new Bespin Guard, AT-AT Commander, and Imperial TIE Fighter Pilot. Now you can get this new 4LOM action figure free for 5 proofs of purchase from any Star Wars action figures. Details on specially marked packages at participating stores. Offer expires August 31st, 1982. New Bespin Guard, new AT-AT Commander, new Imperial TIE Fighter Pilot, each sold separately. From Kenner's Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back collection.
Yeah. Okay. So interesting one, really, with Zuckuss versus Forlom. So we could all say that, we remembered Forlom. Forlom, according to Tracker, had 16 different card variations. Zuckuss had 24, right? And some of them are really, really niche. So I just went through it because having a little look at, some of the stuff which you had prepared as well, Dan, for this. That when we look at what's available, you were talking about Palatoy, weren't you? What were you saying was the significance about Palatoy with the Zuckuss character?
Because he was never released on a Palatoy card or a Palatoy ESB card.
And this is actually with logo. Because I've seen, according to Tracker, that there are some sort of anomalies which are slipping in, and as you said, the Clipper ones are key. And this, from a collecting point of view, we've all given Zuckuss a bit of a hard time, but there's loads to choose from here. Clipper ones, 45B, really, really interesting. Bearing in mind that Tracker's only got 2 of these when I go back to the beginning of Tracker. So I put in 1999. I know Tracker's been going for like about 17 years or so, but 2 Clipper 45Bs, one sold in 2016 for £134 in the UK, and another one sold in Holland for £318 3 years later. There's only 2 of those known to have traded hands in the time. I'm not saying that there's only 2 of those in existence, right? Kenner Canada. Right, this year a 45B Canada this year sold on eBay Canada for £1,000 Canadian, which is about £557. We've got the Palatoy B again in Netherlands, eBay £173. So it's really funny, isn't it, that some of these really super uber niche card backs where there's only one known to have traded hands or one known to have sold in 12-15 years go in for less than 180 quid. So yeah, classic. 4 Clipper 45Cs. The first one was in 2018 at Vectis. Oh, this is a blow, right? You imagine this. You've been on the hunt for one for ages. It comes up at Vectis in 2018. You drop £1,116. Since then, 3 more have surfaced. One in Germany, eBay, which went for 479, and 2 at Hakes in 24 and 25, AFA 60 and 70 respectfully, 405 and 306. If you add up those 3 together, that's not much more than that original Hakes purchase.
Auction fever, mate. You got to be careful. It's easy to get carried away.
It is. No one get carried away. Oberon. As I said, 27 different variations. You've got just the standards and the Palatoys and the Kets and the Kenner calendars and the Clippers. It moves on. Loads of Clippers on this. They loved it in Holland, absolutely. But Leddy, so we've got Leddy, Return of a Jedi 50 back, Hakes, graded. There's only one, and it sold for £1,682. And I'm thinking, wow, that is really, really special. When you consider what Pete has said earlier on about, the super graded other things which have sold. And the most expensive one which we've sold is an AFA 85 ESB 48A. Now, this is the biggest sale, £2,116, right? It's really, really weird. American eBay just a few months later, and it went for £307. So I don't understand. I don't understand.
What was that? A 48 back?
So yeah, so if I look at 48As, right?
Mm.
So it's really, really weird that if you go to ESB 48A, close that one down, and then if you also look at graded, so I'm going to be looking at this, right? Card variations, and this is a great thing about Tracker, right? That it's quite handy, and I'm not saying that Tracker is the be all and end all, But when I look at this was the really, really expensive one. It was an AFA 85. Now it went for £2,116 on the 22nd of March 2023. AFA 85, £2,116. And then 5 years earlier, one had been £433, the one 527. So I don't know why all of a sudden that one is becoming really, really, really expensive. Another one at Hakes this year for £2,000. So all of a sudden, the value of these 85 is just rocketed from £433 up to £1,800, £2,000. So yeah, I think it is auction fever. People just getting completely carried away. But suffice to say, if you were a collector, a focus collector, there are loads of different ones to get yourself into. PBP, Return of the Jedi PBP 65C, Hakes this year, just £691, graded 80, AFA 80. It's like, what? That just doesn't seem to make any sense, you know? And again, another Clipper one. Clipper Return of the Jedi 65, Netherlands, eBay, 224 ungraded. So yeah, I think these are pretty special. And there's a lot of the special sort of Palatoy stickered ones as well, you know, the Kenner ones with the Palatoy stickers on them. So yeah, loads to check out from a Zuckuss point of view.
Just on Hakes, looking at prices, that's so useful, that search function. If you do it per figure and then do it in sort of descending order of value, there's been so much gone through there. You get like 8 or 9 pages of each figure, and it's just so useful for card backs and just variations. Really useful sort of resource. That
it's funny how he's much easier card. I mean, I've got him on. What have I got him on? I've got him on a Kenner 48 back with a Revenge offer kind of sticker plastered over everything, but he's a relatively easy one to get compared to Forlom. I know he was obviously released before Forlom, but it seems to be a lot more plentiful. I think there's been a few on eBay the last couple of weeks, and people have had them up for like 160, 170 quid, and then they haven't shifted. Well, certainly not when I was looking at them anyway. So it's definitely more in if you want to get them in an Empire card, it's a lot easier than Forlom, that's for sure.
I got one thing for Craig's Corner, which hasn't been mentioned. There is a Zuckuss Bounty Hunter coin.
Oh, very good.
So yeah, it didn't come out on Power of the Force, but there is a coin for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're looking at around about £1,200 if you want one of those. In total, 20 have been sold over the last sort of 15 years or so, totaling just over 10 grand. But the most recent one has been about £1,200.
Have to get me one of them.
It's new Zuckuss, 4 LOM, an Imperial TIE Fighter pilot, 3 of 48 action figures from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection, each sold separately. And now, from Star Wars' new Revenge of the Jedi collection, it's Admiral Akbar, not yet available in any store, but free with 6 proofs of purchase. From any Star Wars action figures. Details on specially marked packs at participating stores. Offer expires January 31st, 1983. New 4 LOM, Zuckuss, Imperial TIE Fighter pilot, and other action figures, each sold separately. From Kenner Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection.
Very good. Should we move on to the multi-packs then and some of the other bits and pieces? So baggies, not a lot going on here. So Forlom in the US was available on the ESB-C, which came in the mail away, and an ESB-D. And in the UK on the Palatoy B, which was found in the Palatoy and the Toll Toys mailers. And in Zuckuss, you could get him on the ESB-D and the ESB-G. In the UK, he came on the Palatoy U, and also there is a Euro A baggie, but apparently according to the baggie guide on SWF UK, there's only one known example of that. In multi-packs, Forlom didn't come on any multi-packs at all, amazingly. And then Zuckuss, he was available on several of the Sears exclusive catalogue packs there. So you've got a 2-pack, I think there was a couple of 7-packs and an 8-pack, and also in the 3-pack. So he was there alongside the TIE Pilot and the AT-AT driver in the 3-pack released on that wave. That's everything. So we need to cover the proofs and pre-production, Pete. What have we got there? I know Ron's probably covered a lot of this, but is there anything else you wanted to call out in particular?
Yeah, everyone's covered a lot, but I will just sort of shout a few things out. And as ever, I think I sort of said it throughout this series, but I can't recommend highly enough the Von Kremlin Strikes Back books, the Matthias and Ben Sheehan books, absolutely brilliant. Because I can list them here, but obviously seeing them in a book, seeing the visuals of these is far better than actually hearing about them. Unless you've got an absolute ton of cash, you're not going to own them anytime soon either. I highly recommend those books. Obviously, the archive has got a ton of this stuff, so well worth checking there. And a shout out to Jerry James again, who just seems to have incredible runs of all of the bounty hunters and a lot of pre-production stuff on Bespin Prime. He's got loads of stuff there on Facebook. What have we got? So there's Unproduced Power of the Force cards for both of them available, and one of them has a mock-up Powder Force. I think it's for Lom. I didn't make a note of that, but one of them there is a mock-up for Toy Fair. Both have Revenge of the Jedi proofs. Interestingly, there's a 4-LOM carded sample for an ESB 45 back display offer, also a proof card with a blank back and a chromalin. So they obviously were planning on releasing him earlier on, and they canned it and went for the mailer as well. So he was pretty much he was almost ready to go on a 45 back. There's a chromalin for Oculus 48 back and a 48 back proof. 4-LOM, a carded Revenge of the Jedi 4-LOM, and a Return of the Jedi 65 back Emperor offer proof cards. There's almost more proof stuff out there, more pre-production stuff for 4-LOM than there is Empire carded figures. They're obviously extremely scarce. One singles on most of these. So Zuckuss, the photo art is out there, and it's the same as the Bosk. It's the same image as the Bosk. They would have had it separately and would have airbrushed the other one out for each card. And Zuckuss is obviously behind Bosk, so they had to really brighten him up. There's an ESB 47 back proof card, which is a 4-LOM offer. ESB 47 back chromalin, 45 back chromalin with a blank proof card, a 45 back display proof, and a Zuckuss carded sample on ESB 45 back. So again, he was obviously touted earlier on to be on a 45 back release. There's also a 47 back production proof card, and what looks amazing, I've seen a few of these Empire Strikes Back sample cards, which uses the Zuckuss card back, but they've got carded samples of there's Weequay, there's a reuse example, and a Rebel Commando, all on the sort of carded Zuckuss card backs with the ESB Akbar Revenge. They look really good. They look really cool with the Rebel Commander. Looks fantastic on that card back. And then there's a Return of the Jedi 65 back Zuckuss proof card as well, which is the Emperor offer. I'm sure there's more, but that's just sort of digging around the various sources that is out there. But as I say, yeah, get involved with those books or the archive to see more.
Ton of stuff there, isn't there, for them? Just loads of it. Really, when you think, like you mentioned already, yeah, some of these card backs are, there's plenty of pre-production floating around by the sounds of it in comparison.
Yeah, it's incredible as well. And Ron mentions the alternate head sculpt for Zuckuss as well. That's an incredible piece. And there's some incredible photos on the archive of that.
Very good. So yeah, I think we've rinsed 4-LOM and Zuckuss. I don't think there's anything else we want to cover. Normally this would be the end of the show, but we are going to continue on now into our mini committee.
I love democracy.
I am not a committee!
Order! We shall have order!
I was not elected to watch my people suffer and die while you discuss this invasion in a committee.
My allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
This is outrageous! I object! Order!
Mini committee. Let's just go through our results here just to have a discussion because, and then we can, because obviously our results don't just make up the vote on this. So then we'll do the official countdown and then we'll talk about other people's votes. But three of us had the same figure in fifth, and I think that's pretty obvious. So Dan, Pete, and myself, all of us have got Zuckuss. He is the worst of the five. I think we all agree with that, don't we?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And but Jez, you didn't. Who have you got in fifth?
I think I had Dengar in fifth.
You have. That is mental.
What?
We'll get to this in a minute. That is mental because I'm looking at mine now, and actually I've made a big mistake because I've put 4-LOM with only 2 points in fourth, and actually it should be Bosk. And I've actually put Bosk second, so I don't know what was going on with in my world that night. But I did say to Dan on the phone earlier today that I think Dengar, Bosk, and 4-LOM I can jiggle around in the middle all the time.
Yeah.
But when Dan asked me to do this, I've got IG first, Bosk second, Dengar third, 4-LOM fourth, and actually it's not the correct order.
What you want is a bounty hunter with a weapon just unique to him in first. A bounty hunter. We're bounty humpers. You want a bounty hunter with a weapon which is unique to them in second.
Why?
And third and fourth. And the one who shares his weapon with another character can go in fifth.
So why is that then, mate? Why do you think that?
Well, because I think he looks like he's from a rubbish Halloween party. I'm not being sizist, but he looks like he needs to go for a run. He's got some bog roll wrapped around his head, and he does nothing for me. Whereas at least, the Zuckuss looks, a little bit badass. And he's got an amazing
better figure than Bosk.
Get out of it.
All day long, Jez. You're wrong, Jez.
All right, well, let's just
smiling
see.
amphibian.
Let's just see, and don't rig this. Let's just see what we all put together, smiling amphibian. What have you got wrong? What have you got against people who smile?
Because he's meant to look like the character in the film, and he's walking around with a big grin on his face, and he's just snarling, horrible monster in the movie.
Here? I'm
Bosk,
so confused.
Bosk.
Oh right, him. I thought you were still talking about Zuckuss.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Dengar's the word. Anyway, should we do the committee?
Well, should we do the countdown and then discuss people's votes? Because it might be easiest to see what people have voted, okay? Okay, then. So I'm just going to come to one of you three randomly to discuss the figure like we would do in a committee. 5. So in 5th place, I'm going to come to you. I was about to say I'll go to the ones that they look like the most, okay? So I'm coming to you in 5th, Zuckuss.
I look like Zuckuss, do I?
You've probably got the biggest stature like him out of the 4 of us.
Really? Okay, fair enough. So yeah, Zuckuss, he's a bit of a plain Jane, and he's all one colour. Doesn't really pop on your collection. He's got blue eyes, and when I was little, I pissed on him. So yeah, I'm not a big fan. Okay. That's all I've got to say about Zuckuss. Really, he sucks ass.
In 4th, I'm going to come to you, Pete.
Again.
4th place, which actually I'm quite surprised because I'll vote he would have come 2nd if we didn't include some randoms from the world of Star Wars, and that is Dengar.
Dengar came 4th. Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it, that?
It is. I had him as number 1, I think. But my top 4 varied around a lot. All that was consistent was Zuckuss at 5. But I think Dengar's great. I think if you look at place, that armor is kind of detailed. Everyone moans about the bandages. It's like, get over it. It's like, you talk about individual weapons, but he's the only Star Wars figure with bandages, right? So,
yeah. And also, just if you think about it, I mean, cream and brown, such an autumnal colours, nice little scarf. You look really...
Indeed,
nice,
indeed.
Yeah.
And we're talking, like, Jez, you talked about nostalgia earlier, which is obviously a big part of your love for Forlorn. And nostalgia, going back to the Palitoy campaign for Dengar, is one of the best in the entire vintage era, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I had him in 2nd. It was a toss-up. I nearly put him 1st, but in my head, I just couldn't do it over
Did you just call him a tosser?
No, I might have been talking about
That's
you.
That's why it's got the toilet roll with it.
You might have said that it was a toss-up, but I think you said, yeah, anyway, carry on.
No,
okay.
I think he's great.
I think he's great as well. 3rd place then is Forlorn, Jez. The other one that most looks like Forlorn.
Oh, lovely. He's got a lovely, lovely Forlorn blaster. He's got a great little flasher Mac and some sort of device covering the flasher Mac so he's not flashing. He's brilliant. He's soft. He's Forlorn. And I want to get one, folks. All right? I want to get one. He rightfully, I think 3rd place is perfect for him. He's absolutely not 1st or 2nd. He is 3rd. It's where he needs to be. On the podium, better than Dengar. And great.
This is mental to me. 2nd place, Bosk. Dan, you're quite similar to Bosk.
Well, he's doing the cosplay. I think he should do it. But there you go. No, I think he's not an horrendous figure, but he's not my favourite. I never had him as a kid. I've got no nostalgia for him. It's great. Some great stuff we learned about him during the episode. But yeah, he's just not one that sits at the top of the tree for me, unfortunately. So everyone else has got it wrong.
Of course, I was looking at the results here that you sent me. Like, I've put Boss 2nd and I've got it wrong. I wonder if I move him back to where he should be.
What fault then? Do we need to redo the spreadsheet?
Do you want me to rig this?
And number 1, Greedo. I mean, how is he not in a bounty hunter top 5 is ridiculous.
Because he's not in the Empire Strikes Back.
Standing on that little platform.
No, that's what we've been doing.
Because
Stu, pay attention.
I mean, there's bounty hunters in Jabba's palace as well. We could have done a top 10 here.
Oh, we'll do that when we get to
them. Yeah. Okay, then. So IG88, number 1, 34 points out of a possible 35. That's kind of like, that's big, isn't it? That's like. I don't know.
Well, at least that's the answer. If we get everyone's come back to the same one, it's got to be right.
It's the Bucks Fizz of bounty hunters. Yeah.
So 34 out of 35. Who was the one person?
Me.
So Pete had Dengar 1st and IG88 2nd.
When you look at the scores, it's Dengar 1-1-1 for Mark, Ron, and the Wags team. Everyone, he was the lowest scoring figure.
And me.
Yeah,
I can't believe that, especially with Zuckuss there.
I can't believe someone like John Aves, who's a massive Palatoy collector, just didn't put Dengar at number one. But what can you do? He obviously doesn't love Star Wars enough.
It's all eras, all passions, all Star Wars. And
you were the one who was just throwing a fit.
Oh, I'm not throwing a fit. I'm quite pleased.
You're on now.
I'm quite pleased with the top three. I was surprised because you guys were all like, yeah, Dengar's ace. And I'm like, oh, he's not.
Well, should we do our scores now, Stu, and just leave everyone else's out?
Yeah,
and look
so
at what our four was?
let's just have a little look at like the people that know, you know? I mean, Ron Salvatore, what does he really know about Star Wars? Okay, you know? He's like, oh, yeah. So in our thing, Zuckuss, 5 points out of a possible
20.
Yep, just working out how many out of 20. Bottom of the pile for everyone except Jez, who had him in fourth. In fourth place, Forlom with 10 points. Jez got him in third. Oh, I love Forlom. I really want to Forlom. Third out of 5. I mean, he doesn't love him that much.
That's such a great impression. That was Bob on. That was me. That was.
Dan's got him in third, and me and Pete had him in fourth. But actually, I've got that wrong because it should be Bosk. Bosk is third. He's got 2 second places from me and Jez. Although he's level on points with Dengar, we are dropping him down into third because I've changed my mind. So Pete's got him in third, and Dan's got him in fourth. Dengar second with a first, a second, a third, and a fifth. And then IG top of the pile again. So
but Dengar wins.
I'm quite surprised everyone. I love IG, always have done. Quite surprised everyone's just got him at the top like that.
Yeah.
Because he was a bugger of a figure to stand up.
It wasn't. I mean, when you look at the individual scores on WAGs, there was a lot of variety in there. There was a lot of different combination. I think we must have had every possible combination. And yeah, not everyone had him as their number one, but there was the majority did. So that's the way it goes, isn't it? So
no,
what?
Did I hear? I thought you said 34 people had him as number one.
No. What? Who? No. That was the score. The overall scoring. So you get 5 points for top place. So I just took all the scores and added them together and came up with the average.
Right.
So but
the ability to speak does not make you intelligent, Pete.
That's not very nice. Oh dear.
Well,
right.
my biggest surprise at this is, and it is a surprise, is that Fett hasn't made the top 5.
Well, because he's number one, isn't he? Listen, anyone who turns around and says that Boba Fett isn't the number one bounty hunter is got something wrong with them. They just don't know Star Wars well enough. So I made the decision. We've left him out, and we've just voted on these 5, and then we'll come on to Fett because he'd easily win. You can't tell me that no one would have put Boba Fett not at number one.
I bet you Jez wouldn't.
Probably.
He hasn't got his own weapon though, has he, Jez? He's got to.
Yeah. That's going to really break down his.
I'll let him have a buy for that. You're absolutely. Well, he has got his own weapon. He's got a rocket. To be fair,
good shout.
Yeah, it's got a rocket. Well, that's some quick thinking.
Don't worry, Arthur. We're going.
Well, that is it for this show. But if you want more Generation Skywalker between shows, we have a back catalogue now of 150 episodes, including more vintage Star Wars collecting with the previous 26 episodes of Those Old Fossils, modern collecting with a modern way, committees, interviews, movie commentaries, and our A Look At series, where we discuss Disney Plus shows, and we have much, much more. Just go and search for Generation Skywalker on your podcast catcher of choice, and you will find all of that there. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Threads for the latest Generation Skywalker show announcements and more. Just search Generation Skywalker to find us. If you want to interact with the hosts of Generation Skywalker and other listeners, why not join the Generation Skywalker Facebook page? Maybe you can participate in the next committee vote. If you've enjoyed this or any of our shows, please leave us a 5-star review on your podcast listening platform of choice. If you have the time, a written review would be appreciated. It really does help support the show and help others to find us. We'll return next month for Those Old Fossils for the first of 2 concluding episodes of the Bounty Hunter Capture Pod covering Boba Fett. So we've reached the finale, and we've saved the best till last. So if there are Boba Fett items you think we should be covering in this show, or if you have a story related to him, or if you're a Fett collector and want to come on for a chat, please get in touch. You can do that via email at generationskywalker@gmail.com, or just message us through the Facebook page. And once again, a massive thank you to Mark Andrews from the Variant Villains and Ron Salvatore from the Star Wars Collectors Archive for their time and contribution. Check out both those sites. There is a treasure trove of information. But until next time, it is good night from Stu.
I've got a backup number 5, Dan. I can't just leave. 5th place, Clusters. 4th place, Mars Planets. Do you remember them?
I do, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good, weren't they? 3rd place, Star Mix, Haribo.
Ooh.
How did we miss that? 2nd place, Rocket Ice Lolly.
Oh, that's a cracker.
1st, Space Dust. Got me a bit of popping candy. Yeah.
I got a challenge. Right? What clusters? How's that to do with space?
Asteroids.
What do you mean? How's that to do with space?
Well, they don't call them clusters. They call them asteroids. Surely, if it was...
You get clusters in space, you absolute numpty.
Okay, whatever.
Don't cut that out because you look it up and then don't look it up.
And it's good night from Jez.
I just want to hang around and listen to Stuart reel off some more chocolate. Really, it's making me starving.
This lolly was a good call, I must admit. I know I didn't even think of that one. I like that.
Nice one. I'm going to go and start cosplaying as Forlom.
Wonderful. Look forward to it next Saturday. And good night from Pete.
Nice one. Cheers.
And it's good night from me. We are Generation Skywalker. All errors, all passions, all Star Wars.
Space clusters in the chat for you, Dan, in case you can look at the image later.
I'm going to have a look at that. Space clusters, you call it. You used to call them clusters.
People different clusters of stars, aren't they? Look, the toolbox cluster, the double cluster. You must have heard the little beehive cluster. The mini secure clusters.
Mental.